this organization. Became involved in this group in Binghamton, New York in 1978. It was 1983 before we became incorporated, but it was in 1978. But I met Carol in 1975. I was up in Alaska and transferred down to the great state of Utah, down to Salt Lake City. And I was, they called me Terrible Terry, the traveling technician from the trackless tundra. I was a radio guy. I fixed radios up in Alaska and Helm because to work in government and be promoted, you had to move into positions of increasingly more responsible positions. And I moved into Utah to gain experience so I could ultimately, hopefully get to Washington, D.C., where I could perhaps get another promotion and have enough money to retire. You young people, if there are any young people here around retirement age, retirement is when you get paid for not working. Young people today don't know what that's going to be. But having said that, I met Carol in Salt Lake City in about 1975. Utah being the land of the Mormons, bless their hearts, many of them had these big bushy beards. Well, I had a big bushy beard at that time from Alaska, but I was moving out of state, and I thought I should really get rid of this beard because I'm going to a civilized nation. And so I shaved off my beard, and I no longer looked like an Alaskan. I thought I'll blend right in, and I moved into Salt Lake City, and all these Mormons had these big beards. So I was able to put it back on again. The story I like to tell, though, was after Carol and I had become acquainted and ultimately decided we wanted to get married, that she was getting her medical work done at the University of Utah by Dr. George Cartwright, the late Dr. George Cartwright, and who, by the way, was a friend of Dr. Brewer's, and I think there was some connection there why we eventually ended up. No, oh, I'm sorry, that was a different story, wrong doctor. Anyway, the interesting thing was that speaking to with the doctors in Wilson's disease, we're talking about are so warm-hearted and so on. I was asked by Dr. Cartwright if I wouldn't pay him a visit. Well, I didn't know this man, but we had to get blood tests, and he said, "Well, I'll get one of my fellows to do the blood test for the marriage and so on." But he said, "Would you stop by sometime and talk to me?" Well, I didn't know what he wanted to talk about, but I went up to see Dr. George Cartwright, and he began to explain to me what Wilson's disease was, and I had some inkling, of course, because Carol had told me what Wilson's disease was. But as I got further and further into this conversation with him, he was asking probing questions. It became apparent to me that he was interviewing me to be the husband of his star patient. And he gave his blessing, and ultimately, and we got our blood test. I think he probably would have held the blood test back if he didn't approve. And Carol and I have now been married for 34 years, and it's been a wonderful marriage. I've learned so much through her about Wilson's disease, and have learned so much about dealing with people with handicaps, which I had never in my lifetime been involved with, and so on. She's totally changed my ideas about these things, and for that I would be forever grateful. I've met so many wonderful people over the years through associations such as this and others that Carol has worked on for so many years. So Wilson's disease has become, it certainly is a great legacy that she leads in this organization. And I tell her so many times when things get difficult and so on that she's so blessed, because she leaves, I think, a legacy of having helped so many people. Maybe I can help one person, Miss Carol, if you will, but she's helped so many people over the years, and I think it's a wonderful thing, and I love her dearly. She is a great and wonderful person.